Well, spring has sprung. Hello, welcome to the Garden Gurus. I'm Trevor Cochran. We have got another fantastic program for you today, packed full of down-to-earth garden advice and lots of inspiration. Here's what's coming up on today's show. This week on the Garden Gurus, Sue gives us her top tips for companion planting. Naij shows us how to care for indoor plants properly. And I'll take you around my garden to look at my recent garden highlights.
I've been exploring the nursery here at Eden Gardens in North Ryde, Sydney, and I found myself in the shade and indoor plant section, and I tell you what, folks, they got some good gear here. The popularity of indoor plants has surged in recent years to stratospheric heights, worthy of a billionaire space racer, as we embrace the visual delights and health benefits of the plant world. Improved air quality, reduced stress, and better mental focus, to give a few examples. Big leaves like these found on this monstera here look fantastic indoors, adding a touch of drama. They'll get a lot bigger than this, and you'll love every single part of it. Likewise, philodendrons are amazing. This one here is Congo, but there are lots of different types of forms. You've got this here is Hope. And then down here, we have this lovely trailing climbing plant called Philodendron caudatum, very similar to the very popular pothos or epipremnum. Small one here. Look at this one here in the hanging basket. Beautiful. Seeing the amazing astronautical antics of Jeff Bezos recently reminded me of some of my favourite plants, the cacti and succulents, some of which are well suited to growing indoors as long as you give them a well-lit position. I've had good success with Euphorbia cowboy. Aloe vera, always a winner on the windowsill. And what about this here? The beautiful hanging Rhipsalis for a touch of drama. These peperomia are very cool, and Zanzibar Gem is another almost indestructible customer. Here are a few tips for growing indoor plants. Choose something easy to grow, like the ones we've seen. Use a high-quality potting mix and freshen up regularly. Choose a well-lit position away from direct sunlight and drafts. Keep the leaves clean and dust-free, and remove old ones. Water sparingly and according to plant requirements, and feed with a good fertilizer. Now, I know Trev's a big fan of this gear, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him in space soon either. I know he's got the suit and the helmet.
Hedges need to be bushy. What we need to do at this time of the year as the weather warms up is to nip the tips out of these plants, because wherever there's a set of leaves, you look, underneath that leaf axis, there's potential for a dormant bud to shoot away. So the idea is to save you lots of work and lots of hard pruning as these plants grow up, is to trim them lightly at the moment while they're young, and they'll shoot away beautifully.
Whether it's adding colour to your garden, practicing companion planting, or finishing your desserts with an edible garnish, edible flowers are a wonderful way to brighten up your home. One of the popular questions I get asked about edible blooms is, what flowers are best to eat? Today, I thought I'll take you to one of my favorite edible home gardens to see what's in flower. Lorraine, a fellow home gardener who created this thriving edible garden here less than 2 years ago, has an inspired collection of edible flowers she frequently uses in her homemade dishes. Nasturtiums have to be one of my favorite edible flowers. They're extremely easy to grow, and they bloom in winter and spring. What are some of your favorite ways of enjoying nasturtiums?
Oh, nasturtiums are a wonderful plant because every part of it is edible. So the leaves are nutritious and peppery, so you can use them to make pesto. I like to pickle the seed pods, just like capers, and the flowers are beautiful in salads. So my most used edible flowers in the home garden would have to be pineapple sage, violas and pansies. They're so colourful and sweet, so they're lovely used on cakes and desserts. Whereas in salads, I love to use nasturtiums, rocket flowers, coriander flowers, even peas. They're all lovely in salads. And the wonderful thing is that all these plants are very easy to grow in the home garden.
I noticed on the way in, you also had some lavender growing. Lavender is such an unusual flavored edible flower, more famous for its scent.
Yes, that variety is Purple Rain. It's a small bush and it loves a full sun position. It's got a lovely sweet woody aroma and it's wonderful used in infusions, in butter cookies, drinks and on cakes.
Some important things to remember when using edible flowers. Ensure they have not been sprayed with chemicals and avoid harvesting flowers from roadsides. The best flowers to use will be ones organically grown for human consumption. A helpful tip to remember: if in doubt about whether a flower is edible, leave it out. Oh, this looks incredible. I love this homegrown salad. Tell me what flowers you have in it.
It's rocket salad and I've put nasturtiums and pansies in it. And this is a honey passion fruit cake. I've garnished it with lavender, fennel flower, pansies, violas and pineapple sage.
Oh, it looks beautiful. I've also brought you some homemade soap. This is made with dried calendula petals and this one with dried rose petals. Blending the lines between food and art, edible flowers are truly a delight to behold. I hope these edible flowers have inspired you to grow and use them in your dishes.
We dig gardens here on the Garden Gurus, and I mean quite literally dig gardens. Now, when it comes to doing a job in the garden, there's two ways to do it, the easy way or the hard way. And when it comes to tools, you can have the tools that make it easy or, well, leave you maybe a little bit disappointed. So I thought I'd show you the ultimate garden spade, and this is it. It's from Wolfgarten. Wolfgarten tools are German design tools that are built to last, and they are innovative. One thing we all know is German engineering is designed to be super functional and always designed to last. And now we have a spade that reimagines how to get the job done properly and easily. The thing with the Wolfgarten tool range is the quality gives you the confidence to go and go hard in the garden. It doesn't matter whether you're going to leverage out a plant like this or maybe a rock or even just dig in to some, well, quite gravelly ground. You can do it with confidence because these have been made in such a way that, well, they're not going to break. There's no wooden handles, so there's no weak points. Where the joints have been welded, well, they're extra strong. And then you've got all these other features that make it so much more comfortable as you're actually doing the job. The design is something to behold. The tool is ergonomic and its footholds are solid. The curved design allows for greater leverage. It uses a Comfort D handle with a rubberised shaft grip. Now, when we say they're ergonomic, I say back saving. The design takes the pressure off your back, meaning you can go hard longer, digging planting holes or post holes with a flat bottom. Whether you're chopping through roots or scooping up mulch, this is the tool for you because it's so diverse in its applications across a landscape environment. If you're looking for a reliable tool, it's time to get a Wolfgarten spade and add it to your collection. The quality of the tool makes it a lifetime tool and it carries a 10-year warranty. Seriously, these are lifetime tools. These are the sorts of tools you pass down to the next generation. They're beautifully built, they're great to use, and they'll be a massive asset in your garden. If you want to get your hands on them, all you have to do is check out this website.
You see all this black nasty stuff on the leaves here, folks? That's called sooty mould, which is a fungal problem that's caused by the honeydew that's excreted from insects like aphids, scale, and mealybugs. And if you look, you can see we've got a couple of pink scale insects on the leaves responsible for this nasty mess. Now, the trick here is to get rid of the pests with an appropriate oil, and then you'll get rid of the sooty mould, and everyone's happy, and everyone can move on, including me.
Companion planting had its origins in China and Egypt over 1,000 years ago. And while there's minimum scientific evidence to see that companion planting actually works, we're continually seeking out different varieties and different planting combinations that grow really well together. Now, there are very real characteristics why companion planting actually works. And I like to think of it as a symbiotic relationship where the physical characteristics and growth habits of certain plants will benefit other varieties. Some provide shade, attract beneficial insects, stop weeds from thriving, or improve the soil. Companion planting is even used to improve flavour of nearby veggies. While there are some great companion planting combinations, there are some universal scented plants that can be used in many situations. These include common plants such as rosemary, lavender, thyme and sage, all hardy herbs that are easy to grow and can be planted in amongst a garden bed or in pots amongst other herbs such as chives, parsley or tomatoes. When it comes to popular companion planting combinations, there's none more popular than tomatoes and basil. Not only do they grow well together, they taste fantastic. Now, it's the time of the year to put them in as the weather warms up. You need at least 6 hours of sun a day. Well, we can do that in Australia. Some good soil and grab yourself some controlled release fertilizer. The release of nutrients depends on temperature. So as the weather warms up and the plants start growing, the nutrients are released to match it. Conversely, when the weather cools and plants' growth rate slows down, the fertilizer release rate slows down too. There's extra iron in this formulation, as the plants are going to need it, with lots of fruit, keeping leaves green and resistant to disease. When it comes to planting tomatoes, it's one of only a few varieties of plants. I recommend burying deeper than the original soil level. In fact, up to their neck is fine. What this is going to do is encourage roots to grow all along the stem, and a stronger root system is going to ultimately give you so much more fruit. When planting basil, don't plant it any deeper than the original soil level because it's prone to rotting. Always plant a few underneath the tomatoes because as the tomatoes grow up, they shade the basil and you'll end up with beautiful basil right through summer. Sprinkle around a little controlled fertilizer, scratch it in, and the result, the best tasting basil you've ever grown. Look for companion planting combinations that can either be planted in the ground or in a pot. Include mint and tomatoes or sage and rosemary. Make sure you use premium potting mix, one specially formulated for herbs and veggies. It'll have all the added ingredients these plants just love. Composted manure, seaweed and blood and bone. Building up the numbers of beneficial microbes is so important. The healthier the soil, the stronger the plants and the better they taste. In the end, how much produce we want is all to do with the soil. The secret to gardening is about the soil. So if yours is not going so well, maybe you could try this one, Osmocote Plus Organics, and that's got added soil improver and will make a huge difference. Now, if you've got a favourite companion planting combination that you would love to tell us about, don't forget to get in contact.
Every Monday morning on our Facebook page, we have something we call the Garden Gurus Live. It's your chance to ask questions and to have me answer them. And I love doing it each week. This week, we had a question from Kia in Sorrento in Victoria. And Kia wanted to ask about her macadamia tree. Mature tree had been producing crops of nuts and suddenly it stopped. And she wants to know what fertiliser to use. Well, here's the thing. I reckon that you shouldn't be using fertiliser. You see, this young macadamia is a good example. It's actually getting too much nutrient and you can see there's a little bit of damage to the leaves. Macadamias are native trees that come from Queensland and they shouldn't be fed once they're mature. In fact, if you're feeding them, they're pretty happy. They don't really need to produce crops. But if you don't feed them and you don't supplement the water, you end up with great crops. So don't feed it, don't water it. It's been one of the wettest winters I can ever remember. In fact, it has been the wettest ever on record where I live, over 0.5 metre of rainfall. And this story is fairly consistent all around the country. In fact, all over Australia, we've got above average rainfall in most capital cities. And what this means is, well, we've got a few more challenges, but don't worry, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Spring's just around the corner. It's seen plants growing slower in the winter, but as the days get longer and more sun pokes its head out of the clouds, plants will start growing faster. Annuals like these primulas and cinerarias really start growing, and soon they'll be flowering en masse. And there's something very important to do right now, and that's add nutrient to the soil. There's moisture, more sunlight and warmth. The missing ingredient is plant food. So adding a controlled release fertilizer now is smart. An addition of liquid fertilizer over the foliage, even smarter. It's not just the plants you love that are about to start growing strongly. The ones you didn't ask for will stake their claim for valuable space in your garden too. And if you want to get rid of weeds, now is the time to do it. Chemical-free, ideally. And a cultivator is one of my favourite tools. Gently tilling the soil opens it up. It buries weed seedlings and encourages a more friable growth base. Now, we might be coming out of winter, but there are so many things for you to enjoy. Things like bananas are coming through at the moment. And these guys, doesn't this look just incredible? A real weird and wonderful called the custard apple. Now, they're incredibly good for you. If you're wondering what they taste like, the name custard, the texture of the flesh is very custardy. It is ridiculously sweet, and they're really easy to grow. And now's the time to be harvesting them. So you pick them a little bit firm and let them soften inside the house. Now, interestingly enough, once you've harvested the crop, and there's quite a crop here that I've got to pick, but once it's done, I'm going to go through and I'm going to thin this tree out, pull the middle of it out, thin it out, and give it a bit of light and air to get inside. And it'll make it a lot easier to see fruit and to pick it next season. Aquaponics is the art of growing plants and fish together. And winter is when you grow your own trout. As they start to get larger, it's important to add more plants into the system. The way the system works is the water from the tanks circulate through grow beds that have hydroponic medium in them. The plants strip the water of excess nutrients, particularly ammonia, which is toxic to fish. Now, when they get to this stage, they're starting to produce a fair bit of waste. And this is the time to be planting more plants in the system so that they can suck up all that excess nutrient and organic material and use it for their growth. And that keeps the water nice and clean for these guys. So the crop, which will be harvested in November, is as big and as healthy as it possibly can be. Once I've taken the trout out, it'll be barramundi in the system. And most importantly, now is the time to plant. So get out into your garden and prep the soil. Add organics, compost, mulch, and plant out. And remember, feeding is vitally important, so add a plant tablet into the planting hole of every new plant you grow. And that will give them the handy kickstart they deserve, and in return, you'll get great results in your garden. How beautiful is this? This is Wanneroo Botanical Golf. Now, if you happen to live in Perth, or maybe you're visiting and you can bring Dad along, then you should do it tomorrow. Tomorrow is Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. We hope you have a great day. And that is it for this week's show. So if you want any more information from today's show, simply visit our website. You can watch, well, videos and get fact sheets. There's all sorts of great information. And you can ask your gardening questions if you become a friend on Facebook. It's that easy. I'm Trevor Cochran. I'll see you next week with all the gang for another episode of The Garden Gurus.